Welcome to week 5 of Better Together. Today we start the first part of a 2-part talk called His Needs and Her Needs. If you notice, my wife is not here today because she's actually an expert on her needs. And so we gave her the night off because I needed to learn and grow. And so as we learn from Pastor Charlie and Pastor Sandy, I hope you enjoy as we jump into this 5th week.
We're so glad you're taking time during your busy summer to pour into your marriage and join us for this Better Together series. Tonight, we'd love to talk to you about one of our favorite subjects. It comes from a book called His Needs, Her Needs, and we've been teaching on this for many, many years. And so hopefully tonight you'll be able to take away some things that you can pour into your marriage, and especially for our wives. Guys, this is for you, to help your wives have her love bank filled, her love tank filled to overflowing. Before we get married, there's all this wonderful energy and juice flowing and everything's going great. When Sandy and I first met, it was a blind date and I was like smitten. I knew she was the one. And I was so excited to do everything I could to get her to marry me, to say yes. And you did.
Yes, I did.
Statistics say, the experts tell us that after about 5 years into marriage, the marriage begins to wane. The first 5 years is kind of cool, things are great, but after that 5-year mark, things begin to wane. For us, it was about
5 months.
Yeah, it was early on. I like to think of it being about a year, but honestly, it was right away. A lot of it because of just our immaturity and selfishness, particularly on me. In fact, Better Homes and Garden was asked, did a survey, over 300,000 people responded. Why do marriages fail? And those were the 2 answers that were given, number 1 and number 2. When people get a divorce, they usually say something like, well, we're just not compatible.
And the root of that is truly incompatibility is truly selfishness and immaturity. Unwilling to go the extra mile, to go above and beyond to meet the other person's needs instead of just thinking about yourself.
So the $1 million question that we want you to ask is, what are your needs? Mm-hmm. What are your basic, emotional, foundational needs? And we're going to give you 5 of them that in his book, Willard Harley addresses. There are 10 basic needs, typically 5 for a man and 5 for a woman. And we want to talk to you really quickly about the 5 basic emotional needs
that most women have.
Yeah. And if you will meet these 5 basic needs, I promise you, and ladies, if you'll meet your husband's needs, we'll talk about those next week, but if you'll meet these 5 basic needs, you will begin to see your marriage take off and be what it was before you got married, because I promise you, you were doing them then, because you were attracted to each other. The first one is
communication.
Talking to each other. The recommendation is about 15 hours a week of meaningful conversation.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm not talking about who's picking up the kids or taking the laundry to the dry cleaners, but actual meaningful conversation where, guys, you put down your phone, you put down the paper, you put down the sports page, you turn off Sports Center, and you actually look your wife in the eye and have communication. Mm-hmm. You're talking.
Conversation.
And being real. And the typical conversation for guys is, yeah, fine, good. Those kinds of things, but where you're actually having real conversation, talking
like
about
we
things
talked
that
about
matter.
a couple of weeks ago, getting over those surface ideas of conversation, but into feelings. How do you feel about something?
The next one leads right into that, goes right along with it, is openness and honesty, where you are 100% honest. There is no room in any relationship for deception, even little white lies. If you say you're going to be home at 5 o'clock, you're home at 5 o'clock. If you promise you're going to do something, you actually do it. Whenever that trust is broken, it erodes the relationship. It destroys intimacy. And if you are keeping secrets destroy intimacy. You wonder why your spouse is not connected with you the way you want her to be? Well, it's because of the secrets that you're holding. So it's time we become open and real and share those feelings.
Right. Because we can forgive. Forgiveness can be instantaneous, but trust has to be rebuilt. So every time there is that lie, the wife can forgive the lie, but the work involved in rebuilding that trust it can become monumental if it's lie after lie after lie.
And number 3 is financial security, where guys, you take responsibility in the home for taking care of the family. And you don't have to buy her the Taj Mahal and live in some kind of palace, but being prepared to do the work that it takes to provide for her the way she was provided for growing up. Again, she's not expecting the world, but she does have this basic need of just saying, hey, are you going to take care of me? Are we going to be okay in our future?
It was so interesting. We were having a conversation today with an older couple. We would consider older. We might be older to you, but an older couple who've been married 40 years, and they were still having a conflict over the purchase of an appliance for the home. And he had bought it, she didn't want to, and it was this major division in this marriage. Again, openness and honesty about finances is extremely important.
Yeah, some people say that most marriage fights are over money, but most marriage fights are over lack of communication about money, being
Right.
real about where you're at.
These
So we
all
hope
build
that
on each other.
you'll join us in 2 weeks when we talk specifically about how to manage your money in the home. And number 4
is the children. So taking care of the kids. Dads, your wife, you will be the hero if you take care of the kids, if you love your kids, if you discipline your kids appropriately and effectively, if you take time to sit down and do the homework with the kids, if you take time to review their big idea from church this week, if you take time to take the kids to the park, she wants you to be engaged with the children and demonstrate your love for the children the way she feels love for the kids.
Those are her little cubs, and she's going to mother bear them. And if she sees you engage as much as she is engaged, she'll do anything for you guys.
And a destroyer of that feeling of love is definitely when you get angry at the kids or inappropriately, and she feels like she's put into this protective mode for the kids from you, who should be the love of her life and a teammate of hers in the parenting role.
Yeah. And the last one is affection, where you are loving her, truly loving her deeply from your heart, the Bible says, and showing her that she's the most important person in your world, that there's nobody else but her, and how you adore her and lift her up. And the way we do that is through the love languages. If you've studied those, Sandy's love language is acts of service,
Charlie's love language is gifts. So for way too long, he tried to love me by giving me gifts, and I tried to love him by acts of service. And we were missing on both marks. So find that love language of your wife, and then do it.
Let her know how important she is. Tell her every day how much you love her. Find new words of showing how you're affectionate towards her, and build her up and make her the most important person in your world. If you'll take these 5 things, guys, and you'll ask your wife, which ones would you like me to work on? Which ones can I do a little bit better at? You'll begin to see her heart towards you begin to soften. She'll begin to engage with you in ways you never thought were possible, or you only did before you got married. So I hope you'll be encouraged by this. Hope you'll take these principles, you'll walk them out. We've been praying for you. We love you. God bless you guys.
All right, thank you, Pastor Charlie and Pastor Sandy. We have a lot to talk about tonight, and even though this is geared more towards the men to learn about the wife, wives, you have an important role tonight in discussion, because you need to add your own personal experience and what relates to you, and maybe even more importantly, what does not. Enjoy your group time.